Hi everyone. It's been some time since I have spoken to you all. I think I was in a very deep process of transformation and um, a lot of learning and yeah, like a quantum leap kind of thing. And so there were many moments where I wanted to share, but I felt like I needed to just process and like sort of allow myself to um, just transform and keep that for a moment to incorporate and then to be able to share. So that's kind of like what has been for me. But I really felt called to share something today and just to set my intention to be of service, that whomever needs to hear these words, may them like help in your journey, just like having this desire for us um, to transform and get the whatever we need to, and like be very conscious that we deserve the best. And so that's kind of my intention. And I want to share about something that is really interesting and very popular today. So I thought it could be interesting to just share my point of view on affirmations. And so I will sort of address why affirmation sometimes does not work for us based on my life experience. And now also that I have finished this class that I mentioned before, that is called Just Be, with my, dare I say, friend, teacher, guide, Harai Kaur, which you can actually follow, and I will put here some of her links. And also in the description of the video. She mostly have content in Spanish, but you can also hear her amazing music. So let me just tell you a little bit of my history with affirmations. They came to me like that sort of knowledge that they existed and they were a thing, like 6 or 7 years ago. And the first thing I remember having a hard time with was to believe. To believe in affirmation, or like the power of affirmations. Like I was just like, I don't think like just by saying things life would change. And I did commit it somehow to like a, I was having some health issues at the time, which has always been for me like something that pulls me to learn more. And I was having this pain, and I try to like follow the affirmations related to that part of my body, and I just couldn't see like immediate changes. So I was just like, I knew this can be. So the first thing to for you to look at is what are your blocks in believing that you can transform your life yourself. And I think for me, the other sort of difficulty I had was that for me to believe that just affirming something would make it true, really is was for me like danger, in the sense of like I don't want to deny like the very real systemic inequalities that we live in a world like this. Like I don't want to collide with the capitalist view that like success depends on you and only you and all of that. And But I think I have managed to like sort of like have both things in my belief system, which is like the need to change society for equality and um, the real violence that like exists and that needs to stop, and the fact that also my mind is an instrument that creates my reality. And maybe I can do like another video about that. But so it's just examining what was the block in for me to like sort of understand slash believe in the power of affirmations was one thing. So I would recommend you to look at that. And but like what is exactly like deep inside of these doubts that I had was again like for me to actually believe that I was able to create more prosperity or happiness for myself, because like that would also put me in charge, and I felt unconsciously, of course, that that was not, that was like threatening to my ego. That at some point I also wanted, or like there was some pleasure in the victim place, which I have heard so much people that connect with that, just because when it happens it's like a defense mechanism, to like think all of a sudden that this circumstance that is really not cool or not good, painful, oh, I actually like this, or like, and that brings also, it takes ownership, it takes responsibility if you always think that you're the victim, and so then you wait for others to save you, you know and so affirmations are completely opposed to that. They tell you that you can have a hold on your own life, and so that is to reclaim your responsibility, but that could be scary as well. So I feel like that was something I want to put as the first sort of thing. And so then many processes and like a lot of learning in my life took me again to affirmations. And the second reason why I think they were not working, now they are, is because, and I learned this in the class that I was telling you about, what you live is like a reflection of the most like strong ideas that you have in your unconscious, right? So, for example, I would do like once in a year, at the end of the year, a set of affirmations for the next year or something like that. And a lot of them did not happen at the beginning, but that was just because 364 of the other days I was affirming the negative in my unconscious. Like I was believing the opposite. So, like, let's say, I don't know, I want to have a job that pays me this amount a year. So that is an affirmation I did on December 31st at 11 p.m. But all of the other days, I, in my unconscious, keep affirming or like believing that I live in precarity, that I am not valuable enough, that opportunities are not for me, and so on. So, of course, affirmations in that way won't work, because we have to first sort of uncover the negative sort of beliefs that we have consciously and unconsciously, because otherwise it's not going to work. And so I'll give you an example um, of this. I have an idea, like I discovered that I have this negative idea that everything needs to be difficult for me. It has to do with my upbringing, some precarity that my family had. And so, like, I was manifesting that things work for me, like they do work. So I had like many instances in which things finally work out for me, but they were very difficult. And so I was like, this is weird. Like things are working, and I'm kind of lucky in many ways, but then it's like very difficult to get there. So I was able to observe reality, and that was telling me that there was a belief that I had related to difficulty. And so it clicked, and I was able to, or I'm able to now try to like change that. So actually, what our teacher always tell us is that reality is sort of like beautiful mirror for you to look at your unconscious, because obviously if it is unconscious you don't have access to it. But then when you see things that in real, like in the 3D dimension, that you don't like necessarily, instead of like blaming you or anything like that, it's just like, oh, so I need an adjustment in my belief system, so let me just handle that, somehow. And if you are like me, I would also be interested in, as an activist, to find those beliefs in others and like help each other, rise up. So, because of course the systems of power that are unbalanced, and like they sustain those negative beliefs that are in our unconscious, and so they are reinforcing those. So it all has a connection, right? So that would be the first one. I was saying, like, take responsibility, think what are the blockages for you about the power of affirmation. Second, you manifest what is most predominant in your unconscious. So examine that. If you affirm one day and then all the other days the opposite, you will see the opposite. And then third, so this is a practice. So I would say at the beginning I was like, I'm gonna do this one time, and the things were gonna change. And it's not like that, especially if the affirmation that you're doing is going against something that is very ingrained in your unconscious. So for example, one of the hardest things for me to manifest is like a love, romantic partnership, for a lot of trauma that I have, and that I have plenty videos about that. And so of course it's gonna take some time for me, repeating this sort of affirmation to see changes, because it's been like years, and it's like the depth of my trauma around that, it's very deep. So don't sort of like, we all have this phase doing this affirmation where just like, this is why am I doing this, and like keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. You will see how it changes. And perhaps to give a little bit of hope, you can try, additional to those things that you really want, to do affirmations that are a little less intense, of like, so that you can see the changes easily. So for example, I was, yeah, trying to like, to have this partnership affirmation is very intense. The money affirmation, super intense, because those are the big areas of my life, right? But then I started to like also, um, think about like smaller things, such as like, I have time, I have enough time to do everything I want. I have time to work, to rest, to go to nature, to have social life, and it seems like I have less resistance towards that, and I could see the changes faster. So that would be my advice. So yeah, so first is look at the blocks you have about the power of affirmations and your capacity to change your own reality. Second, the manifestation depends on what is most predominant in your unconscious. And third, things take time, or like this is a practice that you have. And then fourth, I remembered, gratitude. Gratitude is such a key, and I actually came to this, kind of organically. So I'm sure you have heard, but I will tell you again. When you do affirmations, it's better to do them, when you're waking up, because your unconscious is still open, and when you're going to bed. But I also do it when I'm walking, when I'm like walking my dog, and like whatever. But um, so I started to do these like very intense affirmations every day, and I could feel how my body started to like, oof, like release tension, just because I was affirming this. I mean, it's just, if any, it really suits your nervous system for sure. So I was like, oh, this feels so good. And all of a sudden, I felt like I didn't need to actually manifest anything or like affirm anything. I was just so incredibly grateful for my life. And I was like, I burst into tears, because I felt the pain of how ungrateful I have been. And I felt like I don't need to do affirmations. I have everything I need. I was just like such like a profound moment of acknowledging how ungrateful I have been. Um, and for a long time, I just stopped like trying to manifest anything. I was just like deeply grateful. Um, so I feel like gratitude is the key as well. And I also feel like, um, what the things that we want to manifest, it's probably we have had some contact with that energy. It's just like not fully developed in us, but we for sure have had that. And so for example, if you want to, you know manifest a partnership like I am doing now, I also can be grateful for the relationships I have that look like what I want, without the romantic component, for example. I have felt supported, I have felt seen, I have felt uplifted, I have felt supported, safe. And so all of these things that I'm trying to bring, I already have a sense of those. So gratefulness also helps you to like enter in contact with that energy, and the more you feel the contact with that energy, the more it would sort of resonate and bring you more. So those are the four things that I would invite you to look at when you do affirmations. And I really hope that as me now, you feel like within time and within practice, you have everything you want, that you have the life that you deserve. It really, really is what I want for all of us. So putting that intention there. And thank you. Thank you so much. Be well.